consequences?
Yeah, it's getting better. As I live in Massachusetts, and it's the states is gradually reopening. Usually, states take the decisions here. Um, so our governor had a phased opening strategy, which meant manufacturing open first, and then churches. America prioritizes churches, religious gatherings. So churches have started opening, but with specific guidelines. So you don't open as you normally would open. You need to enforce social distancing, stuff like that. So many churches are now opening to full capacity, and now stores are opening this week. So the expectation is that everything will be open in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, so have you attended any services so
No, not
far?
yet. I don't think I'm going to attend church soon. I'll keep attending online. So I'll wait until things are,
Over.
yeah,
Like, that's a nice decision, though.
because I'm not one of those. I'm not. Some people like to. I'm not one of those early adopters. Adopters. I don't. I, I wait until you know, things are well accepted by more people before I jump into it.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Deborah Yusuf, and I welcome you to the 2020 online webinar series organized by Liberating Nigeria, one of the topmost online political forum, and one of the leading job portals in Nigeria, DelonJobs. So we are expecting students from everywhere in Nigeria to participate in this program. So as you are watching us, simply let us know where you are watching us from live. And today I have no other than Mr. Debo Unifade here with me, and we'll be talking on the topic. Uh, we'll be talking on the topic finding a job after school and becoming a stakeholder in Nigeria's liberation process. So, who is Debo Unifade? Debo Onifade is the author of Liberating Nigeria, The Guide to Winning Elections and Reviving Our Country, with foreword by Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, that's Senior Advocate of Nigeria. His articles are regularly published on Vanguard and the Nation newspapers. Debo Onifade has a master's degree in engineering management from Tufts University, United States of America, and a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from the University of Ibadan here in Nigeria. He's an entrepreneur. And a soccer coach, a policy enthusiast, and digital community organizer. He's very passionate about Nigeria's development, and he seeks to ignite the same fire in Nigerian youth. Very important. Welcome to the show, Debo Onifade.
Thank you so much. Nice to be here finally.
Yeah, very good to have you. So let's get down to business, because today's event is focused on Nigeria students, and I would like us to start from asking questions, daily questions concerning jobs. Then after that, we'll dive into politics, and we'll come back to talking about jobs, okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so the Nigeria's Minister of Labor in December 2019 was quoted to say that the unemployment rate in Nigeria, okay, let me quote him directly. It is projected that the unemployment rate for this country will reach 33.5% by 2020, with consequences that are better imagined if the trend is not urgently reversed. Now, this was a statement that was made at a time when the federal government did not even think of a COVID-19 pandemic. So as of now, June 4th, 2020, we could say that that percentage would have increased to 50%. Now, this is quite a problem for students, especially final year students that are preparing themselves for the employment market. So how would you advise students? How do you think they can better prepare themselves strategically for employment in this pandemic?
Thank you so much. So first of all, I think that um, students need to follow the trend, need to understand that The world has changed, and focusing on Nigeria, I tell people don't don't focus too much on your interests only. It's important to consider your interests, but you also have to consider the opportunities, where the opportunities are going to come from. So, for example, if you spend the top first 3 years of your education dreaming about banking jobs after
Mm,
graduation, you should know that that's no longer, you know, it's now time for you to begin to change that dream. Banking is not going to really grow in the next couple of years. If you were thinking about photography, event planning, partying is not going to do well in the next couple of years. So if you're thinking about traditional IT repairs and stuff like that, you know, it's also not going to grow. The world is moving more into managed IT and things like that. So you have to think about what is going to grow in the next few years. So you have to consider the challenges. So that's the first thing I tell people. Don't be too fixated on your dreams without looking at what's happening in the country. Um,
mm,
and I would say things like you have to consider if you're studying engineering in school, electrical, IT, computer, even mechanical. I think you need to consider. Even let me talk about oil and gas. Oil and gas also is going to suffer for a few years. So you should think about software development. If you're an engineering student, this is the time for you to start learning. That's an industry that will continue to grow for the next couple of years, and there will be opportunities even for you to get jobs from other countries. There's a lot of outsourcing opportunities in that regard. There is also going to be opportunities for remote content development. If you are not used to writing, I think I see that a lot of there are not many writers in Nigeria, and it's important for us to begin to polish that skill because I think there will be more jobs for remote content developers, for the next couple of years. People don't want to bring stuff to the office again. I also talk about digital marketing. That's also going to create opportunities for online jobs. That's an area I believe Nigerians also have to focus on. Nigerian students. Another area is agric. Now, agric has had challenges within this period. Agric has continued to grow in the last 20 years in Nigeria, and that's an industry I always tell people to think about. But then you don't have to be in the production. I think in the last couple of months, agri producers suffered because they couldn't even get people to buy their products. They couldn't even get their products to the market. I think there's an area in agri that is going to grow in the next few years. I think that will have to be marketing. Uh, I think a lot of agricultural producers will now be able to need to start pursuing consumers directly through social media, through online platforms, uh, because there will be people who still want to buy chicken, but they don't want to go to the market. They still want to buy chicken, but the supply chain is suffering right now because of the COVID crisis. So if you are producing chicken, it's important for you to begin to think of how can I get my chicken directly to consumers who are on the internet seeking to buy chicken. And I think that's an area many farmers cannot handle by themselves. And I think a lot of young guys might be able to help farmers handle this supply chain issue. Online marketing, social media marketing. So that there'll be opportunity for young people in that area. And I continue to tell young people, you need to find your own niche. You need to find your own area of interest in agriculture. You don't have to farm. That's an industry that is going to eventually help Nigeria grow. And young people need to become more creative, innovative in that area. So bottom line I'm saying is you need to think about what areas will grow and focus more on those areas, less on the areas that will not grow. I also say some things. When you about to finish school, be ready for unpaid job. Be ready to start with unpaid internships. Don't be greedy. So there are a lot of young people that I talk to. They have big dreams and they want big pay. But sometimes you see them jobless for 2 3 years, and then they will go for interviews, and people say, "What have you been doing the last 3 years?" You'll be surprised that sometimes they haven't been doing anything. So I tell people, as long as you can cater for your transport and feeding, go to employers and tell them, I will work for free. because I want to acquire some experience. I want to put some experience on my resume. So that's one thing I also tell young people. Uh, that internship experience, even if it's zero pay, can really be a major stepping stone for you. uh, you must also understand your areas of strength and weaknesses. You must be able to talk about your strength quickly. Sometimes we call it elevator pitch. Some people say unique selling, point. You must
Right?
have a clear idea of what stands you out. So if you meet somebody and he's saying, "Oh, so I want to do this, I want to do that," and the guy say, "Well, what makes you different from every other person I've spoken to?" You have to have that at the back of your head and be ready to say it quickly, because that sometimes is what will land you the job. Because if 20 people go to a chief, say, I need a job, and all the 20 people are coming from good sources, now it means that man is willing to employ from you, but you have to distinguish yourself from the other 19. And it starts from the first day you meet that chief in code. You need to be able to clearly tell that man what makes you special. And you'll be surprised, 90% of people I talk to don't even know. They don't know their strength. So you have to dig deep, think deep, talk to your friends, talk to family, and ask them, what do you think makes me special? You have to think deep. You should have to be able to answer that question by yourself, and you have to be able to articulate it quickly, within 30 seconds or 1 minute. So that's also something that I tell students, be ready. And then also make sure your CV is well prepared. Don't be lazy. You see a lot of CVs, you will notice this lady prepared the CV in a very lazy way. Spend time creating that CV. If you need to pay it for people to help you, pay. But you can do it by yourself if you spend quality time working on your CV. Just make sure it's well prepared so that people take you seriously.
Now, you earlier mentioned that Nigerian students should look at the country and let that should determine their dream. Now, are you saying that our dreams should be dependent on the situation of the country? Because if that's the case, then how do we really put our talents, our abilities into work?
Unfortunately, that's the truth. It's important to consider your talent, but you also have to consider where you live. I mean, if you're in America, if you live in Massachusetts, the kind of jobs you get that they can be different from the kind of jobs you get in some other states. You have to adapt your strength to where you live. If you're living in Nigeria and you're having a dream that can only make you money in Ghana or that can only make you money in England, then you're just wasting your time. So don't. It's good to dream. It's good to think. It's good to.
Some dreams are dependent on your location.
That's correct. That's correct. That's the fact. You have to dream and also adapt that dream to where you live, to the opportunities that will be available where you live.
Okay. Okay. Now, you also mentioned that students should volunteer. Now, if you're just graduating from school, you should start to think of how you can render services to people, organizations for free. Now, as a student who is freshly graduated, you have needs, you have things you want to do, you have things you want to buy for yourself, you have things you want to use money for. So how would a student who newly graduating and is literally broke accept a job that's not paying anything?
I'm
How
just
do
saying.
you?
I'm saying do that instead of staying at home. That's what I'm saying. I think it's good. Every employer should pay. I know that, but I'm just saying rather than stay at home, go to some employers and tell them I will work for free, because you're going to use that employer as a stepping stone. You will learn, and you will use what you have learned to get another job. So who benefits the most? It's you. It's to me, it's a strategy that can help. Every employer should pay. I'm not saying people should just go work for free, but I'm saying rather than stay at home, go work for free or take the little amount that you're being offered. But you meet some kids, they don't even want to work. They don't want to earn small money. They just want big money, and they would rather stay at home. And I'm saying no. Rather than stay at home, go learn. And if you have to, if you can as long as you can cater for the transport, fine. If you can't, stay home. But if you can cater for the transport, maybe your parents or somebody, take that job, learn on the job, and then use that as a stepping stone to go up.
Okay. Now back to the first question I asked you about dreams and students what should they do after school. Now we've had so many motivational speakers who say you shouldn't depend on salary, you shouldn't depend on what you earn monthly. You should be an entrepreneur, start your own business, be your own boss, be your own CEO. In fact, we have Nigerian youths now who are different CEOs. The makeup artist now claims she's a CEO, the fashion designer says she's a CEO. So the question is everyone meant to be an entrepreneur? Like we should have people whose lives will, whose purpose will be achieved in the corporate world. So do you think everyone should be an entrepreneur?
The simple answer is no. I don't agree when I listen to some pastors or motivational speakers talking as if everybody in this world has to become an entrepreneur. No, not everybody. Some people, God has created them to be excellent technocrats. They will never start a business of their own, but they will become CEOs, they will become sometimes MDs. They're going to do very well as technocrats, as staff. That's how God has made it. They're not good. Not everybody is going to be entrepreneur. And I think that's what is pushing a lot of people to entrepreneurship. And sometimes many times they fail. There are a lot of smart guys. I was talking to an Indian friend some time ago, and I was asking her, there's a school in India called IIT. Sometimes my Indian friends say that it's more difficult to get into IIT than MIT because that's where the geniuses in India go to in engineering. So I asked her, I don't see these IIT guys a lot around. Where are they? Do they? She said, oh, they all come to America. They work for NASA, or the Google guys from I. Okay, what about are some of them staying back in India? She said, yes, many of them are starting big companies and they are failing big time. And we just laughed about it. And this was my Indian friend telling me that they are starting big companies, they're getting big money, but they're failing. What is the lesson? Not everybody that went to IIT or MIT is going to excel as an entrepreneur. Some of them are going to be excellent programmers. They're going to be fantastic in their job, but they are not going to be excellent. They're not going to be successful entrepreneurs. So if you are listening to me, you are a student, and everybody's been telling you, think deep. It's in there. God has put it there. Don't fool yourself. Not everybody is going to be an entrepreneur. If you feel it strongly and you know you have the skills, go for it. Don't be limited by, I don't have money, I'm too young. No, go for it. And there's a difference between entrepreneurship and small business owner. You can excel at your job, but you can still do, let me say, side hustle. So anybody can do side hustle. That is not entrepreneurship per se. So if you are a good makeup artist or whatever, and you still want to work, you can work and do your side hustle. So I think every Nigerian can do side hustle. I think that's okay. But that's different from leaving your work and taking the risk of becoming an entrepreneur. It's risky.
Now, one of the points that motivational speakers push, why they really advocate everyone becoming an entrepreneur, is they believe that if you are a staff of an organization, your life or your dreams will be limited to that organization. You cannot build your own wealth, earning salary from that organization. So that's why they advise that Nigerian youth should leave salary earning and start your own business. So do you really believe that? Or would you say what they say is true, that you can't live your life, you can build wealth earning salary?
So if everybody becomes an entrepreneur, who is going to work for the entrepreneurs? Who is going to work for them? So yes, some of us will be entrepreneurs, but not everybody. We need to be honest and clear about that. Some people are going to be excellent staff. They will rise. They are super brilliant, but they are not made for entrepreneurship. That's plain and simple. And I think motivational speakers, pastors, they need to be more balanced when they say this. No, it's not going to be for everybody.
Okay. Well, ever since the COVID-19 pandemic came around, so many things have come to a halt. Businesses, religious organizations, like we earlier mentioned, and schools too. So the government has stopped schools opening, and it seems like it is not going to, schools are not going to come back to session anytime soon. So how would you advise students to make good use of their time in this pandemic period?
So I think the first thing is, this is a time for you to do what you normally would not do if school was open. This is a time for you to learn what you would normally not have time to learn. This is a time for you to For example, if you've never created a resume, a CV before now, this is the time to start reading about how to create CVs. This is the time to start practicing your CVs. Just changing it, writing. If you have always dreamt of being an author, for example, this is the time for you to start writing. This is the time for you to start doing those things you have been thinking about but you never had time to do. If you're a Christian and you've always, oh, I want to read the Bible, when I was younger, we all wanted to read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation,
Yeah.
and this is the time for you to read it, because you can't keep postponing it, you know, for a long time. You're not going to ever, by the time you start working, forget it, no more. And if you're a Muslim, you've always tried to read the Quran, you've not had more time, this is the time to read it. If you have books in your shelves, you have a lot of books that are just, you know, catching a lot of dust, this is the time for you to go pick them. If you've been thinking of praying, this is the time for you to learn and do those things that you ordinarily will not have time to do when school is in session. And it's not a time for you to lament, to stay home and keep lamenting and keep getting scared. It's a time for you to learn new things.
Well, it's quite unfortunate that some students take this instead to watch movies, to play video games. Well, it's great that you've really mentioned so many other things, so many other very good things that they could use this time for. Well, we'll be going on a short